Let's take a look at some automations. So, automations can make your business so easy, but we understand that it can be a little bit complicated to get set up. So, let's walk through how to get an automation from a form all the way through an invoice with a couple of caveats thrown in to make sure that you wait for an agreement to be signed and you also have follow ups in case that agreement isn't signed. So, first, we're going to start in your workspace settings. You're going to want to have a couple of things set up before you start working in automations. You want to have your pipeline settings set up. So, think through kind of each stage. Like you want to have, you want to send the proposal, you want it to be signed, you'll have a complete, whatever kind of your onboarding process is going to look like. You'll want to have a stage for each of those things. The way that Moxie's automations work is they're going to move in and out of each of these stages. More about that soon, but you want to make sure that your pipeline settings stages are set up. That's again in workspace settings and then pipeline settings. Those are your stages. We also want to make sure that you have your templates set up. So you're going to use some emails. So when it comes to writing those emails and agreements and invoices, all of that is under workspace settings and templates. You can create agreements that you're going to use over and over again with your clients. You can create emails that you're going to use over and over again. Same for invoices and also projects. The final thing we're going to look at is where we're going to start with our form builder. So we're going to get a form created and then you can embed that form on your website or you can use it as a link. So I've created this form, and importantly in forms, you want to make sure that each of your text boxes is mapped to the correct place. That's going to tell Moxie where to put it when these folks become your client. So here I've got this first name and I've got it mapped. I've got my key here is what it's called. And then I've also mapped it because first name is one of the default sources in Moxie. It already exists. I'm going to map it to first name. So when this person becomes a client, it will know the information in this box is the first name that's going to go in for client. Same for last name. I'll show you really quickly what that looks like. Let's say you want to add some custom fields. So you'll want to, you can create custom fields. And that is going to allow you to pull in information from this form right into your client record. So when you pull in this text information, you're just going to create a mapping key. So if it doesn't exist here in mapping, you can just give it a name, mapping key, and that's going to, you can map that in your custom forms. We've got a whole video and help docs all about custom forms if you want to learn more about that. For now, I'll just refer you here to this question mark. That's where you can always find more information about anything that you need. Okay, so we've got our pipeline set up, we've got templates set up, and now we've got our form set up. So the other thing in your form is I'm going to drop this form directly into my inquiry in my pipeline. So that means when someone fills out this form, it's going to show up in my pipeline in that inquiry. So I'll take you through what this is going to look like for my client. So I'll share this form. Again, you can embed that in your website. I'm going to use just this link and I'll fill out this form. So here's my form I am going to fill out. I'll add in my information here. And I am going to check my required boxes. I'll choose a start date. This one's not required. So, and of course, always, you can't go wrong with Capo Guard. Okay, so that's what it looks like for my client. They're going to get my checkout information and like, wow, thanks. You can make this page look lovely as well. I just have that text kind of as a placeholder here. Now, I'll show you what I have set up here for a workflow automation. That's under workspace settings and workflow automations. So this is going to come in through an inquiry. So I'm going to take this form when it gets dropped into an inquiry. This is the one I created. So this start is an inquiry. I'm going to send them this thank you email. Thanks so much. I'm going to send you an agreement. It's really great. Probably not what you would do is immediately send someone an agreement, but in my case, I'm going to. So, you can send a message here. You could add in a meeting. You can add in some validation. So you can use this decision node to say, oh, depending on the questions that I asked in my form, yes, I want to have a meeting with this person, or yes, I want to send an agreement to this person. For sake of time, I'm just going to say yes, and then I'm going to change this stage to send proposal. So now I am going to walk through this send proposal. So now this is going to create, so at the end, sorry, I went very quickly there. At the end of this, I used this change stage. So I'm going to update the stage to my next stage, which is where I want to send the proposal. So again, those stages are all customizable. So I'm going to send, that's what this stage is. I set the stage to send proposal. Now I have an agreement, or I have a workflow automation that's going to happen when an opportunity enters send proposal. You create all these with this plus button here, by the way. So I had the workflow name, opportunity enters stage, and then I would choose this send proposal. So I've created that one here. In order to send an agreement, you need to create a client. And so that's going to start here. And now I'm going to drag this create a client here. And if a client doesn't already exist with this email address, it's going to create me a new client. If the email address already exists, it will connect to that client already. It'll connect that contact email to that client, and it will create a new opportunity under that client. So now I want to send this agreement. So I'm going to drag my send agreement here. And I'm going to choose an agreement template. Again, we set those up. So I'm going to use this project management and support. I'm going to send it to the email that's in my opportunity. You could also choose to send it to the email that they filled out their form. You can CC someone. And I'm going to say, oh, I want to send you this agreement. So here is my form. I am adding in, here's my email template. And what you'll want to do in here is use these tokens under here for your proposal. So I want to include this proposal URL so that they can sign it. So you can use this. Here is the token. And then since we want this to look nice, we can just use, I'll link that here. I'll say, I want the text to be displayed is agreement, but I want the link to be my token here, proposal URL. So that's what I've got set up in my email template. So that's going to create a client that is going to send them this agreement. Then I'm going to wait for that agreement to be signed. So I want, that is in this wait for. You can click on wait for. You're going to wait for, drop this down. You're going to wait for the agreement to be signed. And if you want to wait a certain amount of time, like that agreement is going to expire in 5 days, you can set that here as well. From there, so that's what I've got set up here. I'm going to wait for just 2 days for that agreement to be signed because I want to get moving. Then I'm going to put this decision node here. And my label is going to be, is the agreement signed? And I'll add the condition. My category is going to be proposal. And I want it to look at the status. I want that to be fully executed. So I've signed it, they've signed it. If the proposal is fully executed, the answer is yes. So I've got that here. This proposal status is fully executed. So if that is a yes, I'm going to change the stage to sign proposal, and it's going to automatically go on to the next stage. If not, I'm going to void the agreement. And then maybe what I want to do here is send another reminder email like, hey, just wanted to check in, see if you had any questions. And I can do that. I'll use, again, this opportunity or forum email. And I'll have my email template that says like, oh, I guess we're not the right fit, or however you want to manage that process. But that's how you can take your opportunities and you can manually forward them to the next stage. So you can daisy chain those together. A quick review of that is, so I'm going to take my form and drop it into a pipeline stage. Then I'm going to take that pipeline stage and use it to work through an automation, then you can change the stage to the next automation that you want to set. So this one was just an email. I'm going to send a proposal. Before you send a proposal or an invoice, you'll need to add in this create client. So now that it has entered this stage, I'm going to create a client. I'm going to send them my agreement and then wait for that agreement to be signed. If it does get signed, I'm going to update that stage to another stage. That's how you can sort of daisy chain those along. If I wanted to have a more manual approach, I could get rid of this change stage. And then when I see that the agreement has been signed, I could move that into the next stage. Every time you have a form filled out or you get agreements, you're going to get notifications here as well. So you can see here that my discovery form has been created, and you'll be able to check and see where that information has come in here in pipeline. So I'll click here in pipeline. I can see here is my information. I've created a client here and added that. And I can always check on my automations. So if I'm not sure if something has sent to a client, I can look here in my automation. So I can see that this was sent. This automation ran that said, I'm going to send you this proposal. I can go back into my automations here and I can see that my agreement got sent and now it's waiting to be signed by the client that I sent it to. You can also look here in activity and you can see, oh, here's the form that they submitted and all of that information. I can see the email that I sent to them and I can see the proposal that was sent to them as well. So lots and lots of information there. You can always come back to this video, but that is a way that you can take your automations and kind of set them together, or you can give it a manual process if you prefer to have a little bit more control.